Hi, I'm Jenny Robertson, founder of the On Purpose Woman Global Community and founder and publisher of On Purpose Woman magazine. Welcome to Connections Over Coffee. Whether you're here with us live on Zoom, joining us on Facebook, or watching later on YouTube, I'm so glad you're here. This is your time to slow down, fill up, and connect with other heart-centered women who are making a difference in the world. Today's speaker, Vicki Ibaugh, is going to inspire us to do something many of us struggle with, stepping away from our businesses. Her talk is called Step Away to Level Up, the Solopreneur's Guide to Taking Time Off Without Losing Momentum. Vicki's a certified business coach, Kolbe consultant, and Clockwork partner who helps women solopreneurs design businesses that align with how they're naturally wired to work. Through her coaching programs, group sessions, and strategic frameworks, she helps entrepreneurs streamline their systems, reclaim their time, and step confidently into the role of business owner, not just operator. Vicki's favorite commodity is time, and she is committed to helping women solopreneurs leverage their time together. Vicki, welcome. I know we're excited to hear your talk, and I just want to say I've known you for a while, and I know that this isn't just words to you; it's something that you embody and that you do. So we're learning from an expert here today. So, Vicki, the screen is yours.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here. If you don't know me, I'm a visual learner. And so I fully believe in bringing my visuals with me. So give me just a moment. I meant to have this set up. So we've already heard what I'm talking about. And I want you to know that we all have a beginning point with this. I did not arrive at being able to take time off and do it well until recently, like since the pandemic. In fact, this is me. I am in New Zealand on vacation with my husband, and you will notice how big my backpack is. And that is not because my clothes are packed in there. That's my work. I took my work halfway around the world and brought it with me on a trip where I should have been, and I use should, like we spent a lot of money on this. And I'm dragging work with me. And at this point, I was doing some consulting work, but mostly this was my choice. I chose to do this. And the whole time I was there was this gray area of, oh, I want to be enjoying this. Oh, yeah. And I need to check my email. And oh, I need to do this. And so I wasn't fully present in my work and I wasn't fully present in my vacation. Instead, I was in the gray zone. And that kind of began this process of, I don't want this to continue to happen unless I intend for it to be a workcation. This was not intended for me to drag my backpack with me. My husband's backpack was equally large and he did the same thing. We both are a little bit of a type A personality, and turning off work can be a challenge for both of us. I have learned to navigate this, and things have shifted a lot over the years. So I'm going to share today how I started to make that shift and how I now, as of this year, I counted up, I will have taken 12 weeks off this year intentionally. And really, if you think about that, that seems like a lot, but that's 1 week out of every month, which is fully achievable for any business owner. So, why does it feel hard? Why does taking time off feel hard? Well, a lot of times, if you're a business owner, even if you have people that work with you and for you, you worry that things are going to fall apart if you step away. Like, oh, I'm the glue that holds it all together. I have one client who she literally feared this forever. And this year we made a huge amount of progress because she had a medical issue and she had to take time away. And guess what? The business was just as good when she came back as when she left. So we proved that it wouldn't fall apart. Sometimes you're like, oh, there's too much to do. That's why that backpack went with me. There was too much to do. There were things that had to get done that had deadlines. And I felt like I had to take it with me. And the other thing that used to be a really big challenge for me was I'm just not going to get caught up. I'm going to be overwhelmed when I come back and exhausted. And then I'm going to need another vacation because I'm going to be so exhausted after I take the time off. And then I started to realize, well, these things didn't have to be true. And instead, I realized that the reality of me not taking true time off meant I was going to burn out. I was going to have lower productivity, lower energy, and I was going to begin to resent my business. And I was going to go, do I even want to do this anymore? But the reality is I'm in charge. I'm the business owner. and I get to choose how I want things to be and how I want to set things up. And so part of it became reframing what time off meant. Time off really is part of a sustainable business model. Emily shared earlier when we were having our discussion, like she realizes for her, she needs more time off than some other people do. And we can do that. I know I need more time off than a lot of people do. In fact, at one point when I still worked for somebody, instead of asking for a raise one year, I asked for an extra week of vacation because I knew I needed more time off. And to see that time off as a chance to recharge, to reflect, to realign, to re-energize, I come back to my business so much better after I've taken time off. And now I take true time off, not workcation time off, although I do a couple workations each year, but I do them intentionally. I don't do them on accident. I don't go, oh, I'll take my work just in case. I choose what I'm going to take, and I'll explain how I do that. So I'm going to take you through a little bit of a 3-phase process here of how I take time off. And so the first phase is the prep before the pause. And it's asking yourself some key questions. And that is, what can I pause? What can I choose to not do while I'm away? I don't attend networking events when I'm away. I can pause that. It'll be okay. They'll still be there when I get back. What can I prep or schedule ahead of time? Because sometimes I do have certain things that are kind of, they automatically happen. So for example, with my client group, we have some sort of session every Wednesday, but some of those are co-work sessions. And I have certain posts that go out, but I can get all that done ahead of time. And in fact, when I'm prepping and pre-scheduling stuff, I actually go through, and this is just a tip, I not only schedule up through the time I'm gone, I pre-schedule stuff through the week after I'm back. And that way I don't have that challenge of when I get back of having so much stuff I need to catch up on and do. I know that certain posts are auto-scheduled, certain emails are auto-scheduled. I just go ahead and schedule those things. And the other piece is delegating. And I know sometimes we think, well, I'm a solopreneur. Like I don't have anybody to delegate to. But like Jenny proved that even though her business, a big piece of it relies on leading these meetings, there were people she could delegate to. There were people she could ask to step up into the role of being the facilitator. And actually it let those people shine and let people get to know them better. So there was a benefit to both people and asking somebody to help out and to step in. And so sometimes we have to think creatively about, okay, I want to take this time off. Who do I have that could help me? How can I set things up so that it can work better? And another tip I have is when I'm scheduling my time off, I schedule the week ahead of time. I keep my schedule very light because then I have time in my schedule to prep and plan and get stuff done without feeling like I'm rushing to get everything done before I leave on vacation. And then I end up forgetting something important, like my phone charger. So giving yourself that spaciousness. The other thing I like to do is I actually create a list of things that I want to do as soon as I get back, because I'm leaving a breadcrumb for myself so that if you've ever been on a trip and you're like, oh yeah, I have to remember to do that. Oh yeah, I've got to remember to do that. Oh, I've got to remember to do that. I've already captured my brain dump before I left, and I don't need to think about it anymore. It's written down. I'll remember what to do when I get back because it's sitting on a list right by my computer for when I get back. Now, a big piece of this prep process is it starts to create things that will create freedom in your business. Learning to do this well actually makes your business stronger, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit here. But let's talk about the pause and protecting it. I'm a big believer in leaving the laptop at home unless you feel like you absolutely positively are going to need it for something. The only time I bring mine is if I'm purposefully doing what I do call my workations. So I take 2 of those a year, sometimes 3, where I'll choose to work half of the day and I'll have a particular project I'm going to work on. And then I take the rest of the day off and I go play. And I did one of those in early September. I worked for 2 hours, 3 different days, and I took the rest of the time off with no guilt. And I still moved my project forward, which is part of having preset boundaries around work. Deciding ahead of time what you will and won't do. Sometimes I know Andrea shared earlier, she loves to write all the time. So that can be one of her preset boundaries. I'm going to write and create, and I'm going to choose to not have coaching clients that week. Or Deb is a photographer and being able to say, you know what? I'm going to these beautiful places. I want to capture them with my camera because I can leverage those photos later, but then choosing not to be on a networking meeting or answering emails from potential clients, to choose to shut that part off. So we get to choose what are our boundaries around that. And to use that time to restore, to rest, to recharge, to reconnect with your bigger vision for your life. And I often find it's just like when you're in the shower and you get a creative idea. I get some of my best ideas when I'm on vacation and I'm unplugged from the day to day. So giving yourself space to do that. And now the returning with intention. This is another thing I do. I block off a few days after I get back to reintegrate, to kind of get myself moving in the right direction again. Often I'm traveling through different time zones and I need to give myself the grace of my body's not going to want to wake up at 7 o'clock. I might not want to wake up till 9 o'clock because I'm readjusting my time frames. I also sometimes think about it when you first get back, you might have to go get groceries and do laundry and unpack. This way I give myself spaciousness to really readjust personally before I start doing business stuff. And then that first week back, again, I don't overbook myself. I don't overcommit. I allow myself to ease back in because it feels good that way. I have my list that I've created on what I'm going to do when I get back. So I start looking at that. I revisit the goals I've set. I look over my calendar and see what's coming up that I might want to do. You'll notice email is last on this list. Email is somebody else's agenda. It's not your agenda. It's somebody else's agenda. And so I often look at my emails last because I want to focus on my agenda first, and then I will handle other people's agendas after I've completed the things that are most important to me. I don't know about you, but I don't think anybody that I work with is going to, I'm not running an emergency department. Nobody is going to die because I didn't answer their email as soon as I walked back in the door. It can keep for a few days. And most people, if I set up an email reminder, I tell them I'm back a few days after I'm really back so that they don't even expect the email. I give myself that space. And I constantly ask myself, what's the next right thing to do? What's the next right thing to do? I don't ask myself, how am I going to catch up on all of this? Because then I go into overwhelm. It's just, what's the next thing? Let me focus one thing at a time, and then I'll get back into the groove of things. And so scheduling time off is not just the time off. It's what do I need on the front end before I take the time off? What do I need on the back end before I really reemerge back into my business? It's giving ourselves those buffer zones so that we're not exhausted when we start vacation and we're not exhausted when we come back from vacation. Instead, it really becomes this very powerful thing that allows us to move forward with our business. So the other piece I like to do is the little debrief of how it went. What went well? What did not go well? What do I want to do differently? And this is where building a better business really helps you, because you start to understand, like, where are there spots in your business that matter more than other spots? Where were there bottlenecks or weak spots? Where are there opportunities to delegate more or hire certain things out? Where are you missing a system or a process that would really help you run your business smoother? It begins to start this process of creating standard operating procedures, how-to guides. When Jenny needed to ask people to step in and handle the meetings, she already has like a little handout of, this is the order I do things in. Here's the agenda for my meetings. In fact, here's the little snippets of what needs posted in the chat as you're doing the meeting. That had been developed, one, as her tool, but two, made it really easy for her to be able to delegate some of that and have people have a procedure to follow to lead the meetings, giving them permission to adapt a little bit, to, add their personal flair to it. Doing this process also starts to get you very comfortable with the automations within the different systems that you have. Learning how to schedule Facebook posts or how to pre-schedule emails. It helps you get really good at leveraging those automations that now you can use every day in your business, so that you're not always doing things just in time, but you can work on things ahead of time. And it helps you to come up with new creative ideas for your business. It was during one of my breaks that I came up with the idea of transforming how I offer my business and to move from one business model to a whole different type of doing my business. And that was the benefit of going on that break. And I think my current clients will agree, like, we're having a lot of fun in the new version of how I'm doing things. And they're probably getting more coaching now than they did before, because they don't have to think about scheduling it. It's already scheduled for them. And so how do you make it a reality? It starts with building it into your year. It starts with, when you're doing your goal planning for the next year, putting yourself first, scheduling your time off into your calendar first. Because if you don't, and it becomes an afterthought, then you're trying to squeeze it in around the things that are already there, instead of saying, you are the golden goose for your business. Like, you as the business owner, you are the golden goose laying the golden eggs. And you can't do that if you don't give yourself time off. And so building that in first allows you to then adjust everything else around that time off. It also allows you to look at, where do I need to make adjustments? Where am I going to need support? What systems or automations might I need, or what might I need to streamline? Last year, my husband wanted to do a trip to New York City in December with the lights and the tree and Rockefeller Center. And I looked at my calendar, because that wasn't pre-scheduled. It was a last minute trip. And I had to say, I can't go. I have 4 client things this week, and I'm not going to be able to do them from there. And it kind of ticked me off, because I was like, I really want to be able to go. And there just wasn't really a way to do it, which led me to looking at, well, how can I streamline my business, and how can I create a plan? So my clients know this. I now do not release my whole calendar to them for the whole year. They get it quarter by quarter. And it allows me to then have that flexibility to have these other trips come in and get scheduled, and not to disrupt my time with them. But they just get a new calendar every quarter with when I'm available and what's going on in the schedule. So that meant readjusting how I did my business. And you can do that too. I mean, each one of us can take what we learn from taking time off and use that to build a better business. But if we don't take the time to schedule ourselves first on our time off, and it becomes an after effect, as somebody said earlier, like Mia was sharing, like, she takes time off every week. She, even if it's short little things of time off, because if we wait until we're exhausted to take it, we don't get as much benefit from just taking it as we go along. And so my question to you is, when do you want to take time off this next year? Start thinking about it. Start planning for it. Start giving yourself permission to take that time off, not because, you're exhausted, but because taking that time off is going to allow you to stay in the flow of your business and to show up as your best self over and over and over again for the people you serve. And so if you're looking for a place to be able to create your plan for next year, for the first time ever, I always do a planning day with all my clients. We do this every single year. And for the first time ever, I'm going to open it up to anybody who wants to come play with us that day. And one of the things we do is we build in the time off plan. We celebrate this past year and all the amazing things that happened. And what happens is, most people forget how many awesome things happened over the past year. And so it's a great chance to just revisit that. This is not the kind of goal planning workshop where it's like, what is your revenue goal? And let's reverse engineer that. It's much more dancing in the land of woo with reality, where it's like, we take time to connect to our future self and to really listen to the wisdom of our future self to help guide us to cultivate a plan of the things that matter most. And a lot of times our goals and our plans involve things like, I want to make sure I visit family. I want to spend more time with family. I want to work on my health. And so it becomes this very holistic plan and not just your business plan for the next year. So I'm doing that on December 5th from 10 to 3:30 Eastern time. For people who are not already my clients, it's only $27. And we're just going to have a really amazing day that day to help set that runway up for the new year. Because remember, I believe in setting the stuff up ahead of time so we have time to ease into it. And I wanted to do it early enough so that you can take off a couple weeks in December. So I have so enjoyed getting to share how I went from taking an overstuffed backpack with me on vacation to how now I only take a little mini backpack and it has my journal and my Kindle and just what I need in the plane in my backpack now. It weighs about 5 pounds instead of 40 pounds. So I hope that there was some little nugget here that supports you and to find ways to each time just do a little better. Just each time stop and evaluate what went well, what didn't go well, what will I do differently next time, so that you can start to move forward to having your vacations feel like that re-energizing retreat that starts with energy, ends with energy, and comes back into energy when you return to your business. And 12 weeks off a year is totally achievable if that's what you want. So thank you so much, OPW and Jenny, for having me. And yeah, I'll put a link in the Facebook page for that retreat, and I'll put a link in our group here. So thank you so much.
Wow, Vicki. Yay. Thank you so much. And everyone here on Zoom, let's show Vicki some love. Please unmute yourselves and let's hoop and holler and give her some applause, how we want to do that. So,
Woohoo! Yeah.
awesome.
Thank
Wow.
you. Oh,
So, Vicki, thank you for reminding us that stepping away isn't losing ground. And it's how we refuel, realign, and rise to that next level. So, what a powerful message to every woman entrepreneur who's learning to grow her business and nurture herself along the way. It's so, so, so important. I got so many nuggets here. Thank you. And if you're watching this, you'd like to get more involved with the On Purpose Woman Global community, join us for a future Connections gathering on Zoom. We have 8 of those every month. You can also explore an in-person meeting in Columbia, Maryland or Tallahassee, Florida. You'll find inspiration, connection, and opportunities to grow both personally and professionally. And check out our website with all the information, opwgc.com. And you can also check out and read On Purpose Woman magazine there. So until the next time, stay inspired, stay authentic, and stay connected. Oh, let me just add that Vicki's website information is also in the text of this video. Thanks again.